Okay, we'll start. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजः पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Hare Krishna, welcome back to our series on Sundara Kanda. Today I have audience here, so my eyes are going to move beyond the screen as well. We are in a interesting section of Sundara Kanda where we are hearing how the Guru helps us fight our battle with the mind and senses. And many of the persons on the call are Bhakti Shastris. And so I don't have to go through that. There are 5 knowledge acquiring senses we call Gyanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, etc., that has to be overcome or transcended to see or to experience the soul proper. And Sri Hanumanji, playing the role of the Guru, what Valmiki is telling us is how the Guru's empowerment helps us see our daily battles with our own mind and senses. So let's look at the storyline first. Hanumanji, at the end of the previous chapter, chapter 45, he killed the 7 sons of Prahasta. And after finishing them, Hanuman, as a refrain, keeps going back to the Toranam, the gateway or the archway of the Ashoka garden. And that Toranam, we've said it multiple times, represents Namaha. Just the way in Govindaraja's commentary, their mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya, or we commonly refer to Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Between Om and Narayana, the connecting word is Namaha. So this Toranam represents Namaha, that the spirit for anything we do is with the spirit of Namaha. Namaha obviously means obey senses. It also represents that I do it with the spirit of that whatever I am doing is not for my benefit. It is in service to the Supreme Lord. Whatever I see is not that I own, it is belonging to the Supreme Lord, because everything in this world anyway comes from the Supreme. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So I do it in that spirit of service, which embedded in this is the spirit of detachment, that I don't own anything in this world. In fact, even this body, which I call mine, or actually I call I, none of it has come out of my own thing. It is something that I'm just inhabiting. This has been built by the elements given by or created by the Supreme. So the end of chapter 45, Valmiki says, Yuyutsuhu anyai punaha eva rakshasaihi tadeva viro abhijagama toranam tat. After killing the 7 sons of Prahasta, Hanuman went back and stood on that toranam ready for the next onslaught of demons who would come, because he knows it's not done yet. When Ravana heard that his minister Prahasta's 7 sons were killed, one would think that Ravana would have gotten the message that maybe he's now facing someone that he has never faced. But part of the urge for Ravana is that was not enough. He needs to up the ante. He needs to get to the next level of fight. So what he does is that he calls 5 of his strong leaders. So each time he's going to the next level. In karate, we start with white belt, then some other yellow belt, green belt, red belt, black belt, 1 stripe, 2 stripes, whatever is the hierarchy. Each time the intensity increases. So the first 80,000, Ravana was shocked that 80,000 soldiers were killed in less than 40 minutes by Hanumanji alone, and that too a Vanara. Then he sends these 7 generals with all their armies, and they're also finished. But that was not enough. So now he sends these 5 leaders. Their names are Virupaksha, Yupaksha, Durdhara, Praghasa, and Bhasakarna. All of these 5 generals are very, very skilled in strategy, very skilled in warfare. They have earned great medals, and they are as fast as the wind, almost as if they are equal to Hanuman. They're not, but he thinks, oh, they're my decorated generals. I should send them. So he called them and he said, all of you take a large army and go and attack that Vanara. When you go, don't take it lightly, as if we have won many battles. Who is this monkey? No, you should be very serious about it. You should not become negligent. And you should make sure that your actions are according to time and place. Desha kala avirodhitam. Don't think that it's after all a monkey. I can fight with my left hand. I don't have to be so serious. Nothing like that. You desha kala avirodhi. You have to make sure that every arrow that you throw, every move that you make is so perfect in time and place. And don't just think, nahi aham tam kapim manye. I, Ravana, don't think of him as a monkey. You should also not think. He looks like a monkey, but I think he's a ghost, some sort of Mayavi person. Because the kind of strength that he's showing, I don't believe he's a monkey. And I think Indra has created some special magic by the power of his own tapasya, and other sages in the universe have somehow helped Indra create this very special Mayavi. Because in the universe, whether it is Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Nagas, whoever they are, you, all of you, and I, together we have defeated them all. I'm the undefeated champion in this universe. So I've never met someone like this. So don't think of him as ordinary. As far as Vanaras are concerned, I know them all. Drashta hi harayaha. I have met, I have seen the monkeys. Shigraha maya vipula vikrama. I've seen those monkeys who have great strength. Vali cha saha Sugriva. I've seen Vali and I've seen him with Sugriva. Jambavan cha Mahabalaha. I've also met Jambavan. I know how strong Jambavan is. I know how strong Vali is because Ravana once tried to mess around with Vali. You know that story. While Vali was doing his Gayatri, we call it Sandhya Vandana in the morning, Ravana came from back to capture Vali. Vali captured Ravana under his armpit, all the 10 heads, while he was continuing to do Sandhya Vandana with perfect concentration. Held him under his armpit, and Ravana was choking. Finished his Sandhya Vandanam, wanted to take a bath, so jumped up into the sky and dipped in all the oceans of the universe with Ravana under his armpit. And then left him and said, "Who are you?" And Ravana said, "Wow, Vali." Even that Vali is not this strong. His brother Sugriva, no, no. And Jambavan. Neela, Senapati. Vali and Sugriva Senapati is Neela. I know how strong he is, but not as strong as this monkey, this Vanara. Anye Dvivida Adaya. I know Dvivida. I know his twin brother, Mainda. Nobody, singularly or collectively, is strong as him. So this is some magical, mystical personality. Na eva tesham gatim bhima na teja na parakramaha. None of them have this kind of speed or velocity, the strength and parakrama, the ability to fight. Not one of them is like this. Na matihi, na bala utsaho, na rupa, nor do they have the intelligence, nor do they have this energy, the enthusiasm to fight like this. So, my conclusion is this is some sort of mystical being in the form of a monkey. So, to capture him, we need great effort and expertise. So, don't take it easy, don't take it lightly. Sometimes we tell our children, maybe an ordinary math exam, you know math very well, but don't take it lightly. You never know. There might be a trick questions like that. Don't become overconfident of your ability. Don't become overconfident of your expertise in this. In fact, all of you generals are such that neither Indra nor the demons nor humans actually deserve to be standing in front of you. So go ahead, get him. So as soon as they heard Ravana's order, all of them, they were blazing like fire. They accepted Ravana's order and they started off. And Ravana told them, you should not just go like this. You should go with your 4 divisions of armies: chariots, elephants, horses, and cavalry or foot soldiers. So these are the 4 divisions for any Akshauhini. So he said you should go with each of these, go with the strength of chariots, elephants, horses, and sharp weapons. They rushed towards Hanuman. Hanuman saw them coming towards him. When Hanuman saw, he himself started glowing like the morning sun. This powerful radiance coming from him. And all of these 5 demons covered him from all directions and started showering him with arrows. Durdhara. First is Durdhara. Somehow Durdhara gets the first shot at it. Durdhara picked five sharp arrows that they were so powerful and hit them on Hanuman's head. When Hanuman got pierced by these arrows, he roared so loudly and jumped from that Toranam to such a height, and his roar was so loud that the entire battleground started shaking. 10 directions were almost like shivering from that loud roar. And Hanuman, who had jumped up into the sky with all of his strength, came rushing towards Durdara. At this time, Durdara is stretching his bow, trying to shoot arrows upon Hanumanji. Hanuman somehow dodged all those arrows with his expanded body, just fell on Durdara, one shot. And almost like Durdara was struck with a stroke of lightning, finished the chariot, the dhwaja, the flag, the horses, the chariot wheels, Durdara, everybody in one big thud just got finished. It was shocking because somebody has to fight Durdara. There has to be a match. It was like, boxing ring, the heavyweight champion shows up and the whole crowd is cheering for him. And one punch from the underdog, the Gello fellow's got a knockout. He's completely gone. When Durdara fell into the ground like that, completely smashed by Hanuman's power falling on him, Virupaksha and Upaksha, they jumped up in the air. It was their turn. And they struck Hanuman's chest with gadas, with maces and clubs. While Hanuman is also standing in the air, they're also in there. So it's a mid-air fight. As they were striking down Hanuman on his chest, Hanuman, here Valmiki says, who's as powerful as Garuda, went around, picked all, went back into the air, and pummeled both of them and with struck them with that tree. Gigantic rock, not some little thing. He just picked and hit. They have weapons. He has in his hand, but king power with which he hit them, they completely lost their lives in big shot. The two demons. The Yupaksha also died. Now two more are Ragha and Bhatkarna. When they knew that he killed, Bhasakarna took a spear in his hand, and Praghasa also rushed towards Hanuman. So these two stood on the two sides of Hanumanji. And Praghasa with a sharp spear uh, impaled Hanumanji. And Bhasakarna also sent a sharp weapon on Hanuman. So Hanuman was wounded on both sides, and his entire bodily hair became red with blood. So the entire body of Hanuman became so red that Valmiki says that Hanuman started looking like the early morning rising sun, where it is from the darkness of the night. At the horizon, you see this bright sun that is rising. Hanuman, although wounded and dripping in blood, this time went and plucked out an entire mountaintop. And when he plucked the mountaintop, the trees, the snakes, everything that was on the mountain also came with it. And he smashed both of them with that mountaintop. Now all these five got killed. One was smashed by his body, other two by the sala tree, and these two by the mountain peak. Uh, and very quickly, Hanuman destroyed all of the army of the five generals. And how did he kill? Valmiki says a beautiful verse here. Beautiful because you get a picture. So imagine Ashwaihi Ashwan, Gajaihi Nagan, Yodhaihi Yodhan, Rathaihi Rathan, Sa Kapi, Nashayamasa, Sahasra Aksha Eva Asuran. Just like Indra kills all the Rakshasas or demons, Hanuman, Ashwaihi Ashwan, he picked the horses and smashed them on the other horses. Gajaihi Nagan, he picked elephants and crushed other elephants with these elephants. Yodhaihi Yodhan, he took warriors and crushed the other warriors with these warriors. He picked up chariots and crushed other chariots with it. That's the kind of speed and power with which very quickly Hanuman finished everything. Hatai nagaha cha turagaihi bhagnaha akshay cha maharathe hatai cha rakshasai bhumi ruddha marga samantataha. The entire earth, that area, because the elephants, horses, chariots, chariot drivers, everything was completely so broken and strewn. It looked like a tornado had hit the area very quickly. Hanumanji at that time looked like Yamraj. The time when everything gets destroyed and everybody gets destroyed. What did Hanuman do after killing all of this and destroying that entire section of army? Tatah kapi twan dhvajni patin rane nihatya viran sabalan tat eva veera parigrahya toranam, went back and stood on that toranam. Krita kshanah kala iva prajakshaye. Prajakshaye. That time energy that removes people from this world. Because the Krishna says, time I am time, by which I completely deteriorate and destroy everything and everybody. Hanuman looked like that time energy. Krita kshana kala iva. He went back and stood on that toranam, now ready for the next onslaught. So this every time we hear Toranam, so there is a reason, right? That the spirit is, I'm not the doer. I'm just an instrument of Sri Ramachandra. When one thinks like that, then one gets all sorts of power to fight these kinds of demons. So where are these demons? The demons are hiding here. So these five, Virupaksha, Yupaksha, Durdhara, Praghasa, and Asakarna, represent five. So the five sense objects are even the names are like Mickey's Virupaksha are very scary or badly formed. This is the sense object form. We like to look at that looks good form. Very well organized. The eyes become very by coming in contact with form. Yupa, Yupa will come from Nam Patu. So Yupaksha is a word used for something related to wood. Wood is burnt, you have the fragrance. So in Yupaksha represents sense of called what's in the key, the smell of flowers, the smell of in earth. In Bhagavad Gita, Prithivyo Gandham. I sacred that comes from the earth. Dhurdhar is very difficult. One is difficult to because this is the sense object of touch. Hasa. Paraghasa means one eats very well, he's glutton. So this has the subject taste, because the tongue is salivating and bhar, whose are glowing, the sense of sound. We hear very nice something of
Hare
joy.
Krishna, Prabhu. All of a sudden, your voice started to break up. Is there something we can do?
I can shut up. Can you hear me now? Better?
Better, much better. Yes, thank you.
Okay, the AirPods somehow. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So, did we miss anything? Should I repeat the five sense objects?
Please.
Yes,
Okay. All right. So, Virupa Aksha is the object of form or vision. The eyes always like to see good looking forms. Anything that is pleasing to the eye, the forms are good, is like, and or anything that is displeasing to the eye, there is a sense of, I don't like to see it. I don't like to see such persons or whatever. Yupaksha, Yupaksha has something to do with sacrificial wood by the Sanskrit word of it. So in this case, it has to do with the sense object of smell. Dhurdhara means one who's difficult to hold. With this, in this case, it means the sense object of touch. Praghasa is gluttonous, one who eats tremendously. So that has to do with the sense object called taste. And bhasakarna, one whose ears are glowing. This has to do with the sense object called sound. Shabda, rasa, rupa, gandha, etc. Those are the five sense objects. Previously, Hanuman showed us, or Valmiki showed us, how one can fight one's senses. Fight in the sense one can control one's senses, on mind, intelligence. And now he's showing us what it takes to distance oneself or disconnect oneself from the sense objects. So we're going to look at three purports from Bhagavad Gita. But you're welcome to look for yourself. The scriptures are full of the living entities struggle with the sense objects, senses and sense objects. These are just three examples. So we'll start with chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 38. Krishna says to Arjuna, Vishaya Indriya Samyogat Yat Tad Agre Amrutopamam Pariname Visham Eva Tat Sukham Rajasam Smritam. Vishaya, which are all the objects of the senses, rasa, rupa, gandha, sparsha. Indriya Samyogat, when the senses, eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin, come in contact, samyoga, with these Vishayas, yat tad agre, in the beginning, amrita upamam. Oh, it's such a joy. It feels so wonderful. Pariname, however, the consequence of it is visham eva. It's like poison. In the beginning, it's really amazing, but actually it turns into poison later. The common example we give is when someone lights a cigarette. The first puff, it fills the lung with some exhilaration, but visham, at the end of it, the lungs are fully destroyed. Alcohol, whatever. There's some contact of any of the sense objects with the senses. Agre amrita upamam. Parinamam visham iva. He says tatsukham rajasam smritam. This happiness is rajasa. It's mode of passion. It is not good for the living entity. So is it possible for a human being to not have their senses contact any of the sense objects? Impossible. We can't stop looking. We can't stop hearing. We can't stop smelling. We can't stop touching. We can't stop tasting. So this contact of the senses with the sense objects will always be there. Always be there. So what should one do? The only time it cannot be there is if I stop existing. Is that possible? No. So one has to learn how to live. So first is to know the reality of things. So then in 15th chapter, Krishna describes this banyan tree, Ashwatha, that is upside down. In this chapter 15, verse number 2, is one of my favorite chapters. Krishna says, adhascha urdhvam prasitas tasya shakha. This banyan tree has its branches spreading up and down. Guna pravruddha. And what gives strength to this tree is the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So this tree, Ashwatha, banyan tree, is becoming very strong and massive. It is spread all over. Vishaya pravala. Vishaya, the sense objects, are the pravala, the twigs. A tree has one trunk, a few branches, and millions of twigs. And for each of the twigs, there are many leaves. So our senses are in contact with millions of sense object items. Constantly, there's this plethora of sounds, smells, taste, touch, vision, all of it. And he says, adhascha mulani anusantatani. The roots of the tree are going down, going in the downward direction. Anusantatani. Santata, we've heard this word, sandana. Santana means expansion. So anusantatani means these branches are expanding like this. Karma anubandhini manushya loke. So as a person is living on this tree, every time the senses contact the sense objects and a person thinks, I'm enjoying, or I'm not enjoying, that sense of I'm enjoying or I'm not enjoying, anubandhani, binds the human being to manushya loke, to this world. So the trick here is not that one's senses cannot come in contact with the sense objects. The trick is to detach one's identity from oneself, now from one's body, for which that little indication is given by Krishna to Arjuna in chapter 2, verse number 59. Famous verse. Most of us who've done Bhakti Shastri or studied Bhagavad Gita can know this verse. I'm sure they do. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Vishaya vinivartante, one who has practiced to disconnect from the sense objects. Now, disconnect doesn't mean they stop touching something or holding, or they stop looking, they stop tasting, they stop smelling. But the disconnection is that it is done from the spirit of service or from the spirit of that this is not mine to enjoy. It is only taken as service. When one takes it from a service point of view, the example Prabhupada gives is there was a boy and girl who were meeting together to get married, and both families were on the either side, and they asked, what does the boy do? So the boy side, they wanted to make sure that they say it nicely. So they say, oh, he deals with so much money every day. So the girl side became, oh, very nice, very nice. They got them married. And then later found out that this guy is a teller at a bank. So every day he's counting lot of cash. But the teller knows none of it is mine. If I take even one note aside, finished. That way, it is that although I'm touching, counting so much money, writing all these numbers of, so many thousand, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, million, whatever is the counting, none of it is mine. The moment he says, this is for me, because I'm counting so much, it is for me, immediately, Bandhan Manushya Loke, he gets arrested. The arresting is that the Atma is now again back in a body. And the body is very limiting. It is so limiting that it takes away freedom. If I'm sleepy, how much ever I try, I can't fight sleep. I can take coffee, I can do this, and at least for a few hours, I can fight it. Can I fight sleep for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days? What happens? A person becomes mad. Hunger. Can I hold the urge for hunger? No. Tomorrow, all of us are going to be put to test when it is fasting for Gaura Purnima. It's hard because the body is calling, urging, and not just any food, but tasty food. I know for myself, can I eat something that is not tasty? Is anything? Or no, I'm very picky. I like it's wonderful. So similarly, sound. What is the most pleasing sound in this world? It's not music. Music is pleasing, but the most pleasing sound is when someone speaks nice things about me. Oh, it is sweeter than music. And what is the most bitter or bittermost sound? It's not when people say bad things about me. No, it's when people say good things about someone else. Because when bad things, I'm still in the picture. I'm important, even if there are bad things about me. It feeds the ego. At least they're talking about me. But when they speak something nice about others, and I'm not in the picture, that is bitter. So to disconnect from this is not easy. So Krishna, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, has given so many Vishaya, 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 because these Vishayas, what is Vishaya? What is that experience with Vishaya? Krishna uses one word and completely, in one sense, shows how insignificant it is. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 14, Krishna says, Matra Sparsha to Kaunteya, Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkhada, Agama Apayino Anityaha, Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. Just as summer and winter come and go, happiness and distress come and go. But where do you get the experience of happiness and distress? He says, Matra Sparsha, just by contacting the sense objects. That's all it is. Just by contacting. But in this verse, we heard Vishaya Vinivartan, or in the 18th verse, 38th verse of 18th chapter, Vishaya Indriya Samyogat, by them mixing together. So just that contact gives us a pleasure or distress. But while we are contacting, what is our identity? And the identity we try to cultivate, which easier said than done, is I am a servant. I am a dasa. That's why Hanuman is constantly saying, Dasoham Kosalendrasya, Ramasya Aklishta Karmana. The word Aklishta Karmana is a very important word there. As soon as a person thinks Dasoham, I am a servant of Sri Ramachandra, all these things about contact of the objects of senses with the objects of senses becomes aklishta karmana. It's easier. The stronger the sense of I am a servant, the easier it is to withdraw from the sense objects. When it is not the case, even the smallest things, when one looks somewhere, smells something, immediately it becomes klishta karmana. What is the klishta karmana? The person wants that. So the Ramayana is a scripture that tells us the danger of holding on and wanting something. Of course, we all have desires. So it may be that I may have a desire. Oh, what if? But the mood of a service should help me, the mood of a servant should help me recalibrate myself. That What do I want this for? What is the intention behind it? But if that's not there, then we see a very dramatic situation given in Ramayana. In the forest, Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi have been together for 13 years and they've had the best of time together. One day, there is a golden deer that shows up in the ashram. Nobody has seen a golden deer. It doesn't exist. But it has golden and it has spots which are shining and it looks so attractive. And Sita Devi says, Lakshmana, Ramachandra, come quickly, see this deer. I've never seen something so dazzling, so beautiful, so attractive. I want it. And Lakshmana, Ramachandra doesn't speak. Lakshmana tells Sita Devi, there is no deer in creation like that. We have seen so many Rakshasas in the forest. This one is a Rakshasa. Not good to pursue this idea. Don't. No, I want it. I want it. I want to play with it. Look, so imagine how the eyes have gotten dazzled, how the sense of touch is pulling, the joy and exhilaration to play with the deer, want it to be there. And to what degree the desire becomes stronger and stronger. And Sita Devi says, capture it. If you can't capture it, kill it. But get the skin. We will sit on that soft, velvety skin. When we go back to Ayodhya, Bharata, all the others will look at it and say, how wonderful it is. Get it. This is that desire for the sense objects to, or senses to come in contact with the sense objects. And Krishna warns us that agre amrtopamam, in the beginning, it feels like nectar, but pariname visham iva. The consequence of it is, although Lakshmana is saying, don't do it, Ramachandra has not said he will get it. She insists and insists and insists. And as soon as she insists and wants it to be such way, the consequence is Ramachandra pursues that deer. And we know the story, we've heard it. Oh, Lakshmana, oh, Sita, this is the sound of your brother, go. And Lakshmana says, there is nobody in the three worlds who can fight Ramachandra. No, you should go. No, I cannot go. He's told me I cannot leave you like this. You must go. You must go. Maybe you were somehow nursing a very secret desire to enjoy me. You've been waiting for 13 years for this opportunity. And Lakshmana, almost in sadness, disgust, but sadness, walks away. And as soon as Lakshmana walks away, Ravana is here. So this whole episode, Valmiki and the Supreme Lord Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi enact this to show us that when that desire becomes intensified like this, there are pariname, there is a consequence. The first consequence is one loses the association of Sri Ramachandra. Is the deer more good looking than Ramachandra? No. But that's what the nature of desire is. It is so strong that it doesn't make us appreciate the beauty of the association of Ramachandra, and now we want a deer. So the first thing is Ramachandra goes away. So Sita Devi lost the association of Ramachandra. Next, although the Supreme Lord walks away, the Guru doesn't walk away. Lakshmana is still there. So she says something to him because the desire is strong. Then the next consequence is one loses the association of one's Guru. And Ravana captures it. But what is interesting is, did Sita get the deer at all? That desire, after which she was so keen, she didn't get the desire. She lost Ramachandra, she lost Lakshmana. And where was she? Captured in Lanka. Unless there was tapasya there, Again, Hanuman as guru doesn't come back. Rama and Lakshmana don't come back until then. But that's the consequence. Pariname Visham Eva, the consequence of pursuing a certain desire and being hell-bent on it is so poisonous. It is Krishna saying that one should be cautious. And Hanuman, by destroying these 5 sense objects, is showing us how one goes back to that Toranam, Namaha, that whatever I do in my life is coming from the mood of service. It's not for my benefit. Hanuman is fighting all these demons. If Ramachandra fought the demons, we understand. He's doing it for his wife. For who is Hanuman doing? Hanuman is not married. He is not his wife. It is for Ramachandra. So the spirit of service is that it is not for my enjoyment. It is for the pleasure of the Lord. That is when a person can overcome the pushings or the pullings of the sense objects. So that's this chapter, chapter 46. Lovely chapter. 39 verses of fantastic fighting. But one point thing is that when these sense objects, because they are impelled by the mind, or the mind makes that connection. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we hear Arjuna telling Krishna, when Krishna is telling him, control your mind, Arjuna says, Chanchala hi manah Krishna, Pramathi, Balavat, Dridham. Ravana tells the sense objects, go with horses, elephants, chariots, and foot soldiers. So this is how the sense subjects, or we are attacked by the mind's plans to bind us to this body. So Chanchala, Pramati, Balavat, Dridham. There's constant attack on the living entity. And the only saving grace is Dasoham, Kosalendrasya, Ramasya, Aklishta Karmana. That's our mantra, Dasoham, Dasoham. Okay, let's see if there are any questions, comments. I've a few devotees here. Anyone online? Because I'm doing it on my AirPod, you may not be able to hear the question, but I'll respond back. Yeah, go ahead. Anyone has any thoughts?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance.
Hey, Parama Karuna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for explaining this nicely. That the saving point for all of the practicing devotees is to daso asmi, because we come in the zone of enjoyment, and it's very natural. It's very, very natural. But moment we feel that I'm a daso asmi, then that the barometer comes down. And thank you for explaining that. But you raised one point in the very last segment of the lecture, that Ramachandra, Sri Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra, was fighting because he has a cause. He lost his wife. But Hanumanji doesn't have any cause to fight, but still he was fighting. It was not, Mother Sita was not his wife, but still he was fighting in the mood of servant. But isn't it that the serving in the mood of servant is also enjoyment? It's much more enjoyment than being a lord enjoying his own life.
That is the constitutional nature of the living being, that we are Sat Chit Ananda. We cannot give up we cannot give up happiness. We cannot give up joy. But how we go about experiencing joy, what determines whether the consequence is binding or liberating. I cannot say that I cannot experience happiness. I have to. I am Sat Chit Ananda being. I have to experience happiness. I am happiness, actually. So Hanumanji's, and because it is Gaura Purnima tomorrow, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leave all the Rajya Lakshmi? This is the verse I'm going to speak on tomorrow in Naperville. Leave all of that and run after people. What is his? It is his joy of connecting people to their actual happiness. Every other happiness is amrita, agre amrita upamam, pariname vishamcha. Later is poison. From there, he wants them to have anandambudhi vardhanam, enjoy in the bliss of eternal happiness.
Sure. Nicely explained, Prabhu. I'm sorry, I don't want to stretch, but so the enjoyment in the mood of servant is also different categories.
Yes.
And yes. So let's say person is at very low category that I feel very enjoyed doing the service for Krishna, or that's it. Pariname Amrit Upramam, and sorry, it's Pariname. It binds us, or it's Amrit. Still is Amrit, or it's bind, because I'm getting different answer from different people. So
It depends on the proportion of service and enjoyment, or enjoyment for oneself. Whatever is that proportion, to that degree, it is binding or liberating. It's a mix, as we say. We call it Mishra Bhakti. My joy is also there.
thank you.
That
There's any hope?
I'm looking for, of course, there is hope. Shamakund will say something. Go ahead, Shamakund.
Oh no, I mean, I raised my hand to ask a question, bro. After
Oh,
this.
okay. I thought you want to contribute. Please do. But if you have anyone else also, if you have a thought on this, please don't hesitate. It doesn't have to be a one-way dialogue. This is there hope? Yeah, the hope is look from where we started. Look from where we sometimes not sometimes, every time we are driving, we're looking at the road in front of us, but once in a while, we're supposed to look in the rear view mirror to see if there's someone in the back, where the road that I left. So a good driver will regularly look at the rear view mirror. So we look back. Where did I start? Where was I? I don't want to remember where I was. And by the mercy of the devotees and Guru and all, where I am today. Do I have a long way to go? Yeah, very long way to go. But have I come from somewhere? Am I in the same place? No. Things are definitely improved. At least I know there is God. I know that I have to be a servant. I have scriptures. I have Prabhupada's association. I have the association of Guru. I have all the association of devotee. My life is now filled with wonderful things and people. It's far better than what I thought was enjoyment. So keep looking at the rear view mirror once in a while. That will tell us, yeah, there is hope.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Shamakun, you were.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu. The beginning of this class, you were mentioning about Ravana. He had already seen many top generals of his had already been killed, and he was still goading the other generals to attack Hanumanji. In our own life, in the case of Ravana, there is a sense of pride in him that maybe he has so much army, some of his generals are dispensable. He definitely knows the strength of Jambavan and others, and he is assessing Hanuman's strength. And in contrast, in our own life, when we endeavor for an activity, sometimes we reach a point of failure or some things just don't happen. And then the question arises, should I put more effort or should I back out? At that point in time, maybe, definitely we all have pride, and there is an extent to which we want to prove ourselves, etc., which motivates us to pursue it further. But in most cases, there is also the element of not knowing when to stop. Would I have, or to put it differently, maybe Krishna wants me to experience something even in this failure, or after a lot of failure, I may achieve something which Krishna and Guru would like. How do we learn to know where to draw the line? In addition to, of course, maybe asking a devotee, but in addition to it, what is the criteria that we keep in mind?
When is too much effort? When is effort too much?
Yes.
At what point do we draw the line and say enough is enough,
Yes.
or when we say a little bit more, let's see where this takes me. That's a very hard question because each person's situation, circumstance, factors are different. And this one, others can't tell. Others can't tell me when I should stop. It's a hard one. Each person has to find out for themselves because, if you analyze it, suppose I had to put in effort 11 times, but 10 times I failed. But I said, oh, 10, that's too much. But I didn't try the 11th time. So I didn't get it. Someone tries the 11th time, they get it. Someone tries hundreds times, they don't get it. So it's not about everybody has the same. Each person has to figure out in their own heart when it is entering the realm of prayasa. And this is very similar to Prahlad Maharaj in one sense telling Hiranyakashipu, Matirna Krishne Parata Svatova, Mita Abhipadyeta Grahavratanam. That Matirna Krishna, once on that one should think of Krishna, it doesn't come by my own thing. Oh, I should think of Krishna. Svatova or Paratova, when others will tell me, oh, in this situation, remember Krishna. Yeah, it's easier said than done. But in my experience, I may not remember Krishna. So for me to get to that point that I have to remember Krishna, there is a lot of stuff that needs to happen prior to that. Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, that tells me where I want to draw this line. And it is not whether the outcome, at some point, the outcome loses value or reduces in value. It's not so much the outcome, but what I'm going through now for that outcome. And where is my mind now? And that each person has to figure out for themselves. Others can't say. It's hard. Of course, maybe the guru can say, but sitting like this, it's hard to say. Each person, it is each person's individual experience at what point they will draw that line. And for an individual, where that line exists depends on my sense of connection right now. What do you think, Shamkun Prabhu? Do you agree with it?
Thank you. You gave me a lot of clarity. I just like to whatever you said. I just got a book from he's a Gaudiya Math Acharya or Sannyasi, and he wrote a book on the translation or the commentary on the Upanishads. He was, I think, a grand disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. When his guru was present, he gave him an assignment to translate the Upanishads and write a commentary on it. And so, and his guru went on into samadhi. And after some years, when he was trying to complete it, he felt dejected. And one day, he didn't know. I mean, he found it too hard to do it. And one day, the Acharya said, in his out of his humility, he said, in a daydream, my guru came to me and said, continue, complete it. So what you said, that connection to his guru and the mission of the guru, that touched me again. I got reminded of that too. Thank you.
In terms of service, there's no giving up. In terms of other activities, when seen through the eyes of service is a different thing. Now, there are different versions of those things. For example, let's take two views of it. The sons of Sagara had to find the sacrificial horse. At what point did they give up? They didn't. They went on and on. They dug up the entire earth looking, and that's what became Sagaras, the oceans. till they went to that particular place where Lord Kapila is, Ganga Sagar Mela area, and found the sacrificial horse. Prithu, King Prithu, wanted to do 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas. He did 99. The horse was stolen. He wanted the 100th one again. Lord Brahma comes and says, no need, just let it be. And Prithu said, okay. He didn't say, I'll try one more time. This is this 100th one. I got to do it. Not necessary. So in some cases, the persons became very great by not necessarily going further. In another case, they continued. In both cases, though, what is common is the verse that I'm going to speak on is Arya Vachasa. Who is asking us to either continue or not continue? Is my effort guided by higher order? That's what makes the difference.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Okay. We're 1 minute over. Any other burning question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just a question. Is this, so Hanumanji keeps going back to the Thoran. Is this Thoran for the Ashoka Vatika?
Yes.
So is Mother Sita able to see all this fight? Because
No,
this is happening in the air.
It's a massive garden. Last week we were saying it's not the size of our backyard where we can see things. It's a massive garden. It is Ravana's pleasure garden. It can't be small. She is somewhere where the Simshupa trees. He's at the edge of the Ashoka garden or the gate of it. And he's standing on that Torana. She doesn't know yet.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have one question.
Yes.
You're mentioning about Sita Devi. After seeing the deer, he asked, even if you cannot capture it live, kill it. So, but then where is the compassion there? What happened to the compassion? And can you just elaborate on that?
Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsam Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smiti Vibhrama Smiti Bhramshad Buddhinashaha Buddhinasha Pranashati. Don't think of her as Sita. In this, we'll look at that also. But from a Tattva perspective, when the desire becomes stronger, and keeps on, and I feed it with, yes, I want, it comes to such a degree that I don't care of the consequences. I don't care what it happens. I want it this way or that way. Same happened to Kaikeyi back there. I want it. I want Bharata. She was told that he will, Dasharat Maharaj may die. Doesn't matter. I want it. Sumantra tells Kaikeyi, you have any brains at all? You have any intelligence? You're just like your mother. Because previously Kaikeyi's father had this particular skill to read the interactions between animals and birds and insects. So Sage had given to him, and when he heard it, he once laughed, and his wife said, what is it? Tell me. He said, I can't tell you because the sage said if I share, I won't be alive. It doesn't matter. Tell me, I want to know. At that point, I want to know was so stronger that she didn't hear that, or it didn't register that he will die. So Sumantra says, your mother was like that and you just like her. Does it change Kaikeyi? I want it. That's it. Compassion, everything vanishes. She's going to lose Sita Devi playing the role of a jiva. This is our story. When we ask ourselves, what happened to my sense of compassion? What happened to my sense of intelligence, discrimination when I said I want that? What is that song by Narottam Das Thakur? Hari Hari Vipale Janama Gunainu. Janiya Suniya Visha Khainu. Knowingly I ate poison. This is it. Now, as a queen or a princess, Kshatriyas can hunt. Nothing wrong. Hunting is okay. So she said, I want that deer. If you hunt it, hunting is not against Kshatriya spirit, so I'll take the skin with me. So from a princess or a Kshatriya side, it doesn't say, oh, kill an animal. That's what Ramachandra says to Vali. I'm the king of the forests. So for me to kill a monkey is not against the law. So it's not against the law. It's not indiscriminate killing, but pleasure sport, nothing wrong. But what happened? That's the question. Is Sita Devi is playing the role to show us, help us ask the question, what happened? Why did I lose my track? That's the nature of how the spirit of enjoyment, with that spirit of enjoyment, the senses contact sense objects, and that's it. I'll read the verse one more time, just for the fun of it. Vishayendriya samyogad yattad agre amrutopamam pariname visham iva tat sukham rajasam smritam. And Krishna in 15th chapter says, Vishaya pravala adhascha mulani anusantatani karmanubandhini manushaloke. Karma anubandhini. It makes one completely bound just by Vishaya pravala, the twigs, the tree is such, and we are eating the fruits of that tree. So Sita Devi this is an act of compassion, but she is going through that to show us our own life. That is her compassion. What do you say, Nitya Gauranga Prabhu?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Sita Devi's
It's so clear.
compassion, unparalleled.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Hare Krishna,
on way. Yeah, okay. One final line.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, just a comment actually. As you mentioned
Please.
earlier, regarding Arya Vachasa and regarding the question from Shamkunda Prabhu. So I was just thinking that as Srila Prabhupada was trying to print the Back to Godhead magazines in Delhi, and at the time he didn't have money. And from others' point of view, from publisher's point of view, absolutely there is no need because he didn't have any money, so there is no need of going ahead with this program. But Srila Prabhupada, as he was following Arya Vachasai's spiritual master's instruction, so he was going ahead with that. So that was absolute need for him from his perspective. But from the outside the publisher's perspective, there is no need for continuing that. So that was totally individual based, as you were saying, right?
Very good.
So
Thank
just wanted to add this one.
If you like, you tune into ISKCON Naperville tomorrow. We're going to look at 6 or 7 meanings for that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, thank you very much. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.